All right, so snatch balance. This is how I find my balance from the start here, my bar on the back. Now I'm trying to find connection from my foot and with my shoulder. So right here, I can tell this bar is not in the balance within my body, because if I let my hands go, the bar will just fall off. So I'm trying to find my shoulder over the center of my foot. Boom, right there. As I get my shoulder over the center of the foot, I can feel my toes grabbing into the ground, and then my back of my ankle is getting real stiff. So once I feel that from my feet and ankles, I'm gonna feel connection now in my glute and core, okay? Keep that connection the whole time. Feet, glute, core, dip, drive. As I dip and drive, I'm gonna maintain my shoulder line here. Okay, the big mistake is when you drive up, the shoulder goes back. And that's where people lose a lot of balance. So find that pitch forward, core, glute, feet, maintain shoulder line as you dip and drive. Press. 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 So now the mistake would be coming real upright. All right, if I dip here, keep the shoulder line here. If I extend this hip all the way and then drive up, I'm gonna find myself here in an external rotation. I can't keep that internal rotation from here. It'll look like that. And that's why people who get real upright have to be in external rotation. The only problem with that, there's no counterbalance here. I don't have enough posterior connection, okay, in my shoulders. It's all in the front of my shoulders. So you gotta rotate internal. And now I find it here on the back of my shoulders instead of my front delt, and there's more balance that way. All right, so here we go again. We can't be upright because the bar is not in the center of our mass. Find center mass by hinging, shoulders over the midfoot. Then you'll feel your feet and your core and your glute grab. Okay, once I'm there, I can dip and drive, okay? But here, catch me real upright into external rotation. Can't have internal rotation here because that's too far back, okay? So we need a little hinge, just like we would in a back squat. And because there is more posterior connection in the back squat, in our shoulders and upper body needs to also be in the same network in internal rotation, okay? If I'm real upright, then yeah, I need external rotation, but there's no balance here. There's no balance between posterior and anterior side. This is too much anterior load because my shoulder is too upright and towards my heels, okay? And that is why I need internal rotation so that I have load in the posterior chain in the upper body versus, again, external rotation in terms of shoulder. I am connected in the anterior side in the front delt, my wrist, elbows, okay? It's a lot of stress on the wrist, elbows, and the front delt. And then my knees, it's just not a strong position. So we need this position, more posterior connection, just like a back squat. Press, back squat press. The key is keep your shoulder and glute, all right, further away from each other. And that's balance. So now that we understand we need internal rotation in the shoulders overhead, our hands and elbows also need to be in internal rotation as we press overhead. But as we hold the bar here, our grip, we should already have internal rotation within the hand and the forearm. All right, so I'm taking my grip like this as opposed to straight up on the bar like that, okay? Because that is gonna cause an external rotation because my forearm is externally rotated already to start with. So instead of like that, I'm starting like this. And then my humerus, my arm will go into internal rotation as well. If not, if I start just straight on my hand like this and press overhead, it's gonna go up and back towards my fingers. All right, so I got a lot of pressure on the wrist, elbow, and front delt. So this is not a solid position. It's not a balanced position. I'm compensating. So in order to have this, I'm gonna start my hands like that in the center of my palm. So as I push, if I push with my hands open, you'll see that the bar stays in the center of my palm as I press overhead. Versus external rotation, now it's towards my fingers. And this is where you see a lot of the elbow and shoulder dislocations, even among professional high-level weightlifters.
195. Любимых детишек в данный вид спорта. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
Out front.
Bam. Not fun. There's a lot that needs to go right actually to find balance within your whole body structure. And it starts from the foot and then all the way up to your head. Okay, so first, plantar flexion, find weight towards the toe, shoulder over the center foot. Okay, once we do that, we have connection from midfoot, quad, glute, and core, all in one unit. Okay, and then hands, internal rotation. All right, I'm gonna keep my shoulder in the center line as I dip and drive. No feet. Start with no feet, we're going wider feet. If I'm gonna move my foot, I start in my pulling position, jump, dip, punch. Okay, and then now with tempo, in terms of tempo, as I dip and drive, I need to push with my hands as I'm driving up before I extend my knee completely. Okay, if I extend my knees all the way and then decide to drive with my hands, it's a little bit too late. I'm not gonna be able to transfer that energy efficiently. So as I'm driving through my quads and my glute, I'm sending it with my hands, okay? 1, 2. This is what I call hand speed. Okay, no foot, core, drop. All right, easy.